The Sorcerer of Portsmouth. Written by Nathan K. Smith. Narrated by Jim D. Johnston. Preface. The people of 17th century England and colonial America spoke English very differently than the language that is used in this story. I've used modern phraseology whenever possible so as to help the reader comprehend what's being said. I've also refrained from using Latin for the same reason. Chapter 1. Mr. Buckley of London. Though it was not called such at the time, the English Revolution that began in the year 1640 had more to do with the establishment of colonies in the New World than anyone was willing to admit, particularly the party of Oliver Cromwell, who sought to rule England as a king without calling himself such. The religious tumults that shook Europe were not finished at that point. Though the 30 Years' War had ended only 3 years prior of the date when the Plantagenet sailed away from England and towards the Atlantic Ocean, nothing had been settled for anyone in Europe. Though the British monarchy liked to flatter itself that the right of kingship was hereditary, the advent of the play and the song had caused people to think differently. Everything was up for grabs. Opinions could change at a moment's notice, and violence was the preferred method of solving problems with anyone who had even the slightest bit of authority anywhere. So much death and destruction had visited Europe over the course of the last 500 years that those who could afford to leave did. Mary I, also known as Bloody Mary, had made it no secret what she had felt about those who believed differently than she did. Nor had the French in 1572 been particularly kind to the Huguenots in an event that history would remember as St. Bartholomew's Day Massacre. Prior to that, the Inquisition had made a point of burning the guilty and the innocent alike. People of all kinds had been pushing back against authority and the violence that such authority brought with it for as long as anyone could remember. Peaceful discussion had been tried. Military opposition had been tried. Nothing worked. The only solution was to move away from Europe altogether. Those who envisioned a world where tolerance was the rule instead of the exception found it easier to start a new society instead of changing the old one. Following the founding of the first colonies in 1607, people came to the New World in droves. Every year the population of New England increased. By 1651, towns had been established near the Piscataqua and Merrimack rivers in New Hampshire. Portsmouth was the largest, though not the only, town in the area. It was there that the Plantagenet landed on June 7, 1651, carrying a most unusual passenger. Mr. Thomas Buckley of 91 Derry Street in London.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?